What's going on, crypto traders and investors? It's Rod with POW Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth. Today is Tuesday, July 1st, brand new month. Hope you're doing well, and happy Canada Day for those in Canada. In this video, we're going to take a look at XDC, HBAR specifically, and then also just discuss what needs to happen for these altcoins and a lot of our favorite other altcoins to hit new all-time highs. I'm going to give you probably 5 things that need to happen that very well could happen in the not too distant future here. And like I said, we'll take a look at the XDC and HBAR price chart. I'll give my thoughts and opinions on the technicals and the price action, what to expect there in the days, weeks, months ahead. But as always, this is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. If you're new, you can subscribe and you can tick the bell. You'll be notified on any future videos or when I go live. And follow us over on X as well, formerly Twitter. Handle for that is @GroupPow. I'm going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. So first and foremost, first thing we need to see is altcoin ETFs. Analysts are raising the chance of Solana, XRP, and Litecoin ETF approval to 95%. Polymarket showing like 98% for XRP ETF odds this year. And I've never seen Polymarket been that high and been wrong before. And we could see baskets. In my opinion, that's going to be massive. That's going to be the first clue that altcoin, all-time highs and alt season is on the horizon. One thing that we need to see as well is Total 3 breaking into new all-time highs. We have a cup and handle. We formed the handle, we broke out, but we essentially double topped there. So we had resistance at 1.13 trillion. We hit 1.16 trillion. So if we break into a new all-time high on Total 3, which is just the crypto market cap total, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, I think that's going to be another major signal that we need to see in terms of altcoins and full-blown alt season kicking into full effect. Another thing that we need to see is Bitcoin confirm the weekly bull flag. And typically it starts with Bitcoin, right? And then it has that trickle down effect. If we take a look at SPY actually already confirmed the weekly bull flag. So we had our low, high, the bounce, higher low, and then we confirmed with a higher high. And then you just take your measured move there from the low to the high. And it's saying that the S&P 500 is targeting around 656. And that is great for crypto because typically we follow equities. And if you take a look at Bitcoin here, it's the same thing. It held the 0.32 fib there perfectly. And then you just take your measure move there from the low to the high, move it out to your 0.32 fib. So if we break above the all-time high there at 112, that's going to confirm this weekly bull flag. And then the target is $146,000 on Bitcoin. So that is going to be massive because typically altcoins follow Bitcoin, and the higher Bitcoin goes, the higher these altcoins are going to go. Another thing that we need to see is Bitcoin dominance break down here. We can see that this is the most overbought that we've ever been in the history of BTC.D, which is the market cap of Bitcoin dominance. And in my opinion, once we start monthly consolidation here, just meaning once we lose the low of the previous monthly candle, that's going to be another signal that major altcoin movement and all-time highs are potentially on deck. Another thing that's great for crypto and equities is the DXY. So the dollar index, US dollar index, has been breaking down and we're getting close to monthly oversold. So if we continue toward that trajectory of monthly oversold, that's just another clue that we're going to see alt season, altcoins really start to outperform. And something we've been looking at as well is potential for rate cuts in the US. The Federal Reserve is looking to potentially cut rates over the next couple of months. There was actually some comments from Powell today saying that they would have likely already done a rate cut if it wasn't for tariffs. So I think there's a good chance that happens over the next couple of months. And like I said, we're going to see massive upside after that. We'll jump into the HBAR and XDC chart specifically here in just a moment. While we're on the topic of crypto, I want to shout out to a new project and sponsor of the channel. And this section of the video is sponsored by Sapphire Studios. It's a paid partnership and they're behind the mobile strategy game called Gold Inc. First and foremost, this is not financial advice. You should do your own research and never buy or sell anything based on anything that I say or write. This is for entertainment purposes only. What's different here is the game beta just went live and their token called SST is in pre-sale now at a very low and attractive market cap. Gold Inc is one of the largest Web3 games currently and to ever launch, and in my opinion, I believe this is going to be absolutely huge. Like I said, it's backed by Sapphire Studios and you can download and play today. I'm going to play a 2-minute video review that I think describes the game extremely well so you can get a proper look at it. If you decide to use my link in the description and in the comment section below, you can get up to 10% bonus SST tokens during the pre-sale. You can also find links below for the app on Google Play Store and the Apple App Store.
Hi folks, I'm here to talk about my mobile game pick of the year, Gold Inc. My name's Colin Stone, I've been reviewing entertainment for more than a decade, and let me tell you, Gold Inc. very well could be the most addictive game ever built. Imagine a game that allows you to build a realistic mine with real-world profits, mining real-world gold and assets while battling it out for land and resources in an open-player governed game world with 10,000 bloodthirsty people. All that alongside your closest friends 24/7. That's exactly what Gold Inc. is. It's more than a game, it's a lifestyle. Gold Inc. is one of the most expansive, massive multiplayer games on mobile and the first truly freedom-oriented open-world MMOs with a player-run economy. In Gold Inc., you run your own realistic gold mines, own land with real-world value, manage your company, and at the same time, work hard to defend you and your friends' assets against competing alliances. Don't want to play by the rules? No problem. You can build up a military with your friends and make money by pillaging gold from rivals. Become powerful enough and you could even take the king seat and make a hefty real-world income collecting taxes from everyone. The creators of Gold Inc. wanted to break the mold by making an open mobile game with no rules. A game that blended game and reality that people would want to invest years into. And in my opinion, they've more than accomplished that goal. They created a new genre of open gaming. Finally, don't wait. Download Gold Inc. now because they are only letting so many players into their first launch phase. The sooner you get in, the more your account will be worth because all the alliances are new and will be at the same level for a very short time. Now is the easiest time to get that king spot. That's it for this review. Thank you so much for watching. This is your sign to download Gold Inc. today.
With that, thank you very much to Sapphire Studios for sponsoring this part of the video. The project is super exciting. There's so many real world use cases, and the SST token is going to be available across multiple different games as well. One that they're developing at the moment is called Stellar Extraction, and it creates all kinds of real world utility. Most of the time I pass on pre-sales, but this was a project that I couldn't pass up. Check out the links in the description and we'll get back to today's video. All right, welcome back. Taking a look at HBAR here on the hourly time frame. We did have an inverse head and shoulders, and this was a new indicator that I built as well for the POW Algo service and for POW members. If you take a look here on the hourly time frame, we did confirm this inverse head and shoulders. We had a target of 15 cents, and then we had another one that formed, but it was actually met by a regular head and shoulders, and the target on that was 14 cents. And typically, once you have an inverse head and shoulders and then another one, you don't typically see it's like a bull flag, right? Multiple bull flags back to back, it loses the chance and the odds diminish, right? And typically, you see these inverse head and shoulders at the bottom of a trend, right? It's a reversal, a bullish reversal in a downtrend. So that made a lot of sense. And then same thing here, this was an uptrend. So you have the head and shoulders that played out perfectly as we would have expected. We are looking at 14 cents as key major support here at the moment, but on the weekly time frame, you can just see how weak we've been, no pun intended, on the weekly time frame compared to Bitcoin. Bitcoin's looking at a potential weekly bull flag, whereas on HBAR, it was a weekly bear flag. So you just go from the high to the low there. You can see that we didn't get above the 0.32 fib, so it was essentially the opposite. And then you just move it out to your 0.32 fib, and it was saying our target was 12 cents. We hit a low there of 12.6 cents, so that was essentially hit to perfection. And then same thing with XDC. You can see on the weekly time frame, we were breaking to weekly lower lows, and if you just take your fib tool here, go from the low to the high, that one, again, perfect weekly bear flag. So it goes to show you that it was a lot weaker compared to Bitcoin. And then again, you just get your measured move there from the high to the low, move it out to your 0.382 fib. And on XDC, we're looking at 4.8 cents. So we hit a low there of 5.5 cents. So we could see in terms of percentage about another 10 to 11% of downside. And again, that makes a lot of sense with potential rate cuts coming. If we see Bitcoin confirm the weekly bull flag, and M2 money supply has been growing, which is basically just showing global liquidity on the rise, and typically Bitcoin lags that. So we're seeing that. Also, blockchain backer mentioned the fact that Coinbase has been breaking out, and typically that precedes a huge move for alts. So like I said, I'm expecting Bitcoin to really start to accelerate, see that weekly bull flag confirmed, target that 140, 150K. And then after that, I think you're going to see full-blown alt season, which could happen realistically in the month of July. It could happen as early as this month, right? So we'll keep an eye out for it. We'll keep an eye out for that. Everything that I just mentioned. At this point, we just need to start the weekly bounce on XDC, on HBAR, get back into a weekly uptrend. We're currently in weekly downtrends at the moment. So very weak compared to the granddaddy of them all, and that would be Bitcoin. If we take a look at HBAR, we could see a bullish triple thunder crossover, which is a close above the 10-week moving average and a bull cross of the weekly stochastic and MACD. We're probably at least a couple of weeks away. So again, that adds more confluence and probability to the fact that we're going to see Bitcoin continue to outperform. And then, like I said, once Bitcoin dominance starts to break down, we see monthly consolidation there. I think we're in for massive altcoin appreciation. But in terms of XDC, on the weekly time frame, same thing here, right? We're already having a bull cross of the stochastic, but the MACD has yet to cross bullish, and we're still below that 10-week moving average. That very well could happen, like I said, this month here in July, but it's likely a couple of weeks out. So I am expecting Bitcoin, like I said, to continue to outperform here, at least in the short term. If you take a look at the weekly moving averages, we're just sandwiched in between the 50 and the 100 weekly moving average here at the moment. And we got a lot of support there on HBAR at the 12-cent area. And again, if we just do XDC here, XDC USD on the weekly time frame, same thing, just sandwiched in between those same moving averages, and we have a lot of support there at 5 cents. If we take a look at HBAR here on the daily time frame, we could see a golden cross, which is when the 50-day is below the 200-day moving average and they cross. But again, it looks like it's going to be at least 2 or 3 weeks before we see those cross. And again, adding more confluence to the fact that we should see Bitcoin continue to outperform. And once we confirm that weekly bull flag, then I think we're going to see the trickle-down effect. Same thing here on XDC. We already had the death cross. That's out of the way. We saw tons of downside as a result. And now we're looking to see these flip the opposite direction and see a golden cross. But again, judging by how far away they are at the moment, the 50-day at 6.3 cents and the 200-day at 7.8 cents, it's more than likely going to be a few weeks before we see that happen. But like I said, if we can get the DXY continue to break down towards monthly oversold, if we can get rate cuts, Bitcoin dominance start monthly consolidation, get Bitcoin to confirm that weekly bull flag, then top out, see that trickle down effect, and then continue to see, altcoins rise from there. And we're going to watch like a hawk, total 3, right? Once that breaks to a new all-time high, then I think you're going to see the biggest altcoin season that you've ever seen. And it's going to make the other ones look like peanuts. But, obviously a lot of these ETFs getting approved is going to be massive as well, and it's IPO season, so things are heating up in a big way. I'm excited for the next few months and closing out 2025. I think it's going to be something to behold. The fireworks show is very, very close. We just have to be a little bit more patient. Let me know what you think of this in the comment section below. It's Rod with Power Group. Thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth, and we'll see you again on the next video.